Hello Internet Allies, how you doing? So this week Captain Marvel comes out in cinemas, which is very exciting and stuff like that, seeing as I am a huge Marvel fan. And I thought this week I'd talk a little bit about the things I like about Marvel movies and some of the things I don't really like about Marvel movies as well. So yeah, let's get into it, here we go! This could be like an action-packed superhero movie. So we'll start with the things I like about Marvel movies and why I really like Marvel movies in general. I think one thing I really like about what Marvel movies have done to pop culture is the fact that I feel like the MCU now, I feel like they've made superheroes and comic book movies and comic books a lot more mainstream than they used to be. Loads more people have heard about them, loads of people are interested in them, loads more people have watched them, etc, etc. I mean, I don't know whether this is because Disney now owns Marvel and stuff, which might have something to do with it because Disney, let's be honest, is probably one of the most well-known brands in the world. You know, I don't really think there's anybody that hasn't heard of Disney. so that might have something to do with it. But yeah, I do like, how superhero movies are a lot more mainstream in the media now, which is great. As well as superheroes becoming more mainstream in the media thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I also really like how the Marvel Cinematic Universe has also inspired other people and other media and pop culture in general, really. And what I really like is that some of these characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe do give people somebody to look up to and stuff like that. Whether that is, Iron Man being really clever and using his wit to using his wit to his advantage basically, or Captain America's, determination and never giving up on a fight, or never giving up on what he believes in. I think another thing I like about, Marvel and the MCU is that, it's so diverse. They've got loads and loads of memorable characters and stuff like that, and it's just really interesting because they all bring their own personalities and their own views to the table, which I think is great. And they all have their own struggles, insecurities, flaws, etc, etc, and having to overcome them to basically save the day and stuff. And along with the diversity of the characters, I do think that it's great that everybody has their own unique favourite Marvel character, Marvel movie, etc, etc. I mean, for me, I really love Spider-Man, I love Thor, really great choices. I love how Tom Holland and Chris Hemsworth portray Spider-Man and Thor respectively. I think they're really fun, quirky characters and stuff like that. So as well as all the characters, I really love the character interactions and how they often collaborate with the whole Avengers thing. I really like that, because, it's basically bringing all these different stories together, which is great, which is what I really love. So speaking of the MCU, another thing I really like about it is that it sometimes introduces more obscure characters and characters that, I may not have otherwise heard of. For example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is my #1 favourite Marvel movie. And I do really love Star-Lord, I love Groot, and I don't really think I would have heard of these characters without the Guardians of the Galaxy movie being made. Also really like that the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't really take itself too seriously a lot of the time. I think that's when it works best. I just watch these movies to basically have a good time really and stuff like that, and that's basically what they're all about really. You don't need to think too much about what's going on, it's just a good time watching these movies and stuff. And finally, what I really love is the action scenes as well. They've got some really fun and creative action scenes as well. So moving on to kind of the stuff I don't really like so much about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I feel these are kind of more bad habits more than anything really in the movies. I think the first thing is kind of this, surrounding some of these movies is this more the merrier mentality, I feel. I think especially with Infinity War and Civil War, I think, because they have so many characters in these movies, I think sometimes it's quite hard for each character to get their moment to shine and stuff. And what worries me is that because they were so hyped and so popular, I just worried that you know, I don't really want, like, because they have so many characters to basically be the sole reason why these are such popular movies, if that makes sense. You know, I kind of want them to be, like, good, like, because of, like, you know, the story, the character development, etc, etc. Neither of these movies are, like, necessarily my favourite movies. It's okay, it's perfectly fine if they're your favourite movies, don't get me wrong. But yeah, they're just not my personal favourite movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I also feel like Infinity War sometimes relies a little bit too much on, like, watching the other Marvel movies. I mean, I know it's supposed to be, like, part of the series and stuff, but yeah, I remember, like, watching Infinity War with one of my friends when it came out on DVD, and yeah, one of my friends, like, I mean, they're not really the biggest Marvel fan and stuff like that. I mean, I think they like the movies. I mean, they watched Spider-Man Homecoming and stuff like that, but yeah, they're not like a hardcore Marvel fan. And yeah, I felt like a lot of the time, like, I didn't really feel like they really knew what was going on because they hadn't watched, like, all these movies and stuff leading up to Infinity War. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes I feel like, you know, it could, like, lose, like, people who aren't overly familiar with the Marvel movies and stuff. Another thing that kind of mildly bothers me about these movies is that, like, in most of the Marvel movies, there's like a clip of, like, you know, the main superhero in that movie maybe showing off their muscles and stuff like that, and for no real reason, to be honest. Okay, it's great if, like, some of the actors are, like, proud to show off, like, their bodies that they work really hard to achieve, like, for these roles and stuff, but, like, sometimes it just doesn't really make sense to have that in the movie, really, other than just basically for people to go like, oh wow, they've got really great muscles, basically. I feel like that's the only reason why, like, those shots are, like, in these movies and stuff. I mean, so sometimes, you know, like, they integrate it well, like, for example, Civil War, like, when, like, Captain America's trying to, like, basically stop that helicopter with his, like, bare hands, and basically he's, like, just kind of like, you know. Right, okay, well, thanks very much, guys, for watching. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. I mean, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Please keep it a healthy discussion, though. Please don't hate me for, like, what I've said. I hope you enjoyed this video, though. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Until next time, keep smiling, bye-bye.